Hello students, I am Anupma Bajpayee from JPS Noida. Today, I will be discussing with you a new chapter of Indian economic development, chapter 3, agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. It is important not only from the economic point of view but has great influence on our social, political and cultural life. In the words of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, agriculture needed topmost priority because the government and the nation would both fail to succeed if agriculture could not be successful. Importance of agriculture in Indian economy. Agriculture is the last sector of Indian economy. It has to play an important role in economic development of the country. The government of independent India recognized the importance of agricultural development due to following reasons. Number 1, contribution to GDP. In 1950-51, about 59% of India's GDP was generated in the agricultural sector. Although agricultural development programmes got a top priority in our 5-year plans. Major source of employment. Agriculture is the major source of employment in India in 1951. About 72.1% of the working population was engaged in agriculture. Importance in industrial development. In India, agriculture plays a pivotal role in the development of the industrial sector. Raw materials like cotton, wood, sugarcane, jute, oilseeds, etc. are supplied by the agriculture to manufacturing industries. If agriculture is underdeveloped, industry cannot expand because of inadequate supply of raw material unless such materials are imported from other countries. हमने चैप्टर 1 में भी एग्रीकल्चर पढ़ा था ऑन द ईव ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस चैप्टर में. उसमें भी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की इम्पोर्टेंस सबसे ज़्यादा थी और हमारी कंट्री की डिपेंडेंस एग्रीकल्चर पे सबसे ज़्यादा उस समय भी थी. और एग्रीकल्चर ही सारी इंडस्ट्रीज़ की, चाहे वो प्राइमरी सेक्टर हो चाहे वो सेकेंडरी सेक्टर हो, सबके लिए सबसे नीडफुल एग्रीकल्चर ही होता है, क्योंकि हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज़ भी बेस्ड होती हैं केवल एग्रीकल्चर पे, क्योंकि उनको रॉ मटेरियल उसी से अवेलेबल होता है. अगर एग्रीकल्चर किसी भी कंट्री का कमज़ोर होता है या वीक होता है तो वो कंट्री की जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट भी उससे अफेक्टेड होती है. नेक्स्ट है सप्लाई ऑफ फूड एंड फॉडर. Food grains such as wheat, rice, pulses, maize, bajra, oilseeds, etc. are the necessities of life. Agriculture in India provide food to about 121 crore of people and fodder to about 38 crore animals. Importance of foreign trade. Agriculture is an important source of foreign exchange earning. It brings foreign exchange into the country through export of agriculture commodities like tea, coffee, raw cotton, raw jute, fruits, vegetable and etc. जितने भी टी, कॉफ़ीज, रॉ कॉटन, स्पाइसेस, इन सब के जो फॉरेन कंट्रीज़ में जो डिमांड है वो हमारे ये स्पाइसेस की, हमारी कंट्री की टी की, कॉफ़ी की, इन सब चीज़ों की डिमांड बहुत ज़्यादा है. Agriculture in India is of vital significance both in terms of farm output and in terms of demand for the non-farm output. Any slowdown in the agriculture sector leads to slowdown in the industrial sector. As a result, GDP growth rate is adversely affected. अगर किसी भी कंट्री की, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि अगर किसी भी कंट्री में एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर स्ट्रांग होता है तो उस कंट्री का इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर भी उतना ही ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग होता है. और अगर इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर और एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर यानी प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी सेक्टर स्ट्रांग होंगे तो उस कंट्री की जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट उतनी ही ज़्यादा अच्छी होगी. फीचर्स ऑफ इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर. Agriculture remains the most important sector of the Indian economy. whether it be the pre-independence or the post-independence period. The special feature of the agriculture sector is our share of agriculture in employment and GDP. The share of agriculture has been falling in the country's gross domestic product. Agriculture accounted for 59% of GDP in 1951, now decreased to just 17% of GDP. But from the livelihood point of view, the portion of the population depending on agriculture decreased from 72% in 1951 to 65% in 1990, and then further decreased to 42.7% in 2016. It means 42.7% of the population lives with only 17% of the total income of the country. Single largest sector. Agriculture is the biggest sector from the livelihood point of view. It is also the biggest private sector. It is the only occupation which carries no burden of individual income tax. Third point is unorganized sector. This is the biggest unorganized sector of the economic also. It accounts for more than 90% share in the total unorganized labor. Next point is fluctuations in agricultural output. Another notable feature of the Indian agriculture is that total agricultural output is subjected to be wide fluctuation. Dependence of our agriculture on monsoon has been the major factor behind these fluctuations. Even today, 16% of the net cropped area continues to depend on rainfall. Therefore, agriculture operations in India are still considered as the gamble of monsoon, as nature plays a major role in determining the level of agricultural product. Disguised and seasonal unemployment. Still, another important feature of Indian agriculture is the prevalence of widespread disguised and seasonal unemployment in the agriculture sector. Because of the seasonal nature of agriculture activities, a large number of farmers do not get employment for 3 to 4 months in a year. Similarly, a number of farmers through working on the field do not make any additional contribution to production. This kind of unemployment is called the disguised unemployment. Last point is low level of productivity. An unfortunate feature of Indian agriculture is the very low level of its productivity. In India's agriculture sector, we find that both per hectare productivity and the per worker productivity are much below the level of developed countries. Now, we are going to discuss the problems of Indian agriculture. First point is heavy dependence on agriculture. In India, agriculture provides livelihoods to the large section of the people. There has not been any significant migration of population from agriculture to non-agricultural occupation. Thus, our agriculture is overcrowded. As a result, the average size of holdings in India is continuously decreasing. The portion of the country's GDP contributed by agriculture declined considerably. It declined from 59% to 35% in 1991. Dependence on monsoon. Nature still dominates agriculture in this country. It is said to be a gamble of monsoon. Currently, only 40% of the 63 million hectare or net cropped area has permanent irrigation facilities. It means India में अभी भी irrigation की proper facilities अवेलेबल नहीं है. अभी भी हम पूरी तरीके से मानसून पे ही डिपेंड हैं. Other natural calamities such as the hailstorm, frost or attack by the pest and insects are also the common occurrence in India. जैसे अभी आपने सुना होगा टिड्डियों का दल आ गया था, जिससे ये भी हमारी क्रॉप्स के लिए बहुत ही मुश्किल है. एग्रीकल्चर फार्मर्स के लिए बहुत ही मुसीबत का टाइम होता है ये भी. तो इस तरीके से अभी भी हम मानसून पे डिपेंड हैं. अभी भी हमारी पे जो प्रॉपर फैसिलिटीज़ हैं इरिगेशन के लिए वो अवेलेबल नहीं है. डिफेक्टिव लैंड lack of defective land and revenue system. Land revenue system in India is totally defective and it is standing in the way of its agricultural development. Even after the abolition of Jamindari system and enactment of tenancy legislation, the position of tenant is still far from satisfactory. The cultivator has to pay high rent to the landlords and is subject to frequent ejectment by the landlords. All these have led to lack of incentives and confidence on the part of cultivators to make provision for any permanent improvement on land. Next point is small sized holding. Most of the farmers' land holdings are very small. Most of these holdings are not only extremely small, they are also fragmented into a number of tiny plots. Cultivation on them can be carried out only by labor intensive techniques. Small and scattered holdings make the use of modern machines like tractors and threshers, etc. Lack of institutional credit. The facilities for institutional credit is quite inadequate. Hence, Indian farmers are exploited in the hand of village moneylenders for the supply of finance. Lack of organized marketing system. Agricultural marketing system is highly unorganized in the absence of organized marketing facilities. The cultivators are exploited in hand of middlemen. The number of organized market is very small. Moreover, the markets are situated far from the production centers. Most of the cultivators depends on the village mahajans for the sale of their surplus production. Last point is conservative outlook of farmers. Socioeconomic factors like farmers, conservative outlooks, ignorance, illiteracy is the main reason. Superstitions is also affected the agriculture. Stand in the way of adoption of modern technology in agriculture. Unless this discouraging rural atmosphere is changed, it is not possible to modernize and improve the condition of agriculture in our country. In short, agriculture in India faces a number of problems ranging from the production of the crops and production stage. Modern inputs are not properly used, as a result of which level of productivity remains low. At marketing stage, majority of small farmers fail to get a remunerative price for their crops because of the lack of organized marketing system. New agricultural strategy or a green revolution. It is very important for your board examination. Green revolution is very important. There was a distinct shift in strategy in the mid 1960s. The new agricultural strategy was put into the practice for the first time in India in the Kharif season of 1966. This was termed as high yielding variety program. As the basic element of the strategy was application of high yielding variety of seeds, the program was introduced in the form of package program. Since high yielding variety of seeds required regular and adequate irrigation facilities, extensive use of fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides, the core of the program consisted seeds developed by the researchers in laboratories as against traditional farm seeds, chemical fertilizers against traditional fertilizers like animal dung, adequate water supply, pesticides and their proper combination. Meaning of a green revolution. What is green revolution? Green revolution in India refers to the large increase in the production of food grains due to use of high yielding variety seeds in the mid 60s. MS Swaminathan. It is very important. MCQ के लिए important question है कि who is the founder of the green revolution? M.S. Swaminathan is the pro-founder of the Green Revolution in India. The word Green Revolution implies two things. First one is well-marked improvement in the food grains, production sustainable over a long period of time, increase in the productivity due to introduction of new agricultural technology. Two phases of Green Revolution. First phase, in the first phase of Green Revolution, it is the time between the 1960 to 1970. The use of HYV means high yielding variety seeds, was restricted to the more rich states as Punjab, Haryana and West Uttar Pradesh. Further, the use of HYV seeds mainly benefited the wheat growing regions only. In this stage, the productivity of wheat increased rapidly, and so it is called wheat revolution or the stage of centralization. Here the second stage, in the second phase of Green Revolution, it is time period between the 1970s up to mid 1980s. The HYV technology spread a larger number of the states and the benefited more variety of crops. A group of 5 crops are included in this stage. This included wheat, rice, jowar, bajra and maize. Jowar, bajra and maize are called coarse grains or coarse cereals. In addition, the program was implemented in other parts of the country, and so it is also called the stage of decentralization. The main emphasis of this phase was to increase the production of rice, pulses, crude grains and oil seeds. Features of Green Revolution. First point is focus on potential reasons. In the earlier strategy, all out efforts were made to devote resources on development programs throughout the country. This resulted in spreading the resources thinly due to non-availability of complementary resources everywhere. Progress could not be made. In the new strategy, a conscientious decision was made to concentrate all the available resources in only potential region so that the growth did not suffer from inadequacy of complementary resources. Next point is introduction of modern inputs. New advanced input came to be introduced in agriculture. These inputs are stated. First one is use of HYV seeds. The core of new technology is the application of HYV seeds in place of low yielding variety of seeds. HYV seeds ensures large increase in output and thus are known as a miracle seeds. These seeds grow quickly and the crops can be harvested in shorter span of time, so the farmer can have 2 or more crops in a year. Next point is use of chemical fertilizers. The HYV seeds need huge amount of soil nutrition. The new technology emphasizes the application of chemical fertilizers which contain nutritional element in concentrated form. Proper irrigation. The HYV seeds can be effectively used only when there is inadequate availability of regular water supply. The area of such crops should also be free from the flooding. That is why the new technology is described as seed fertilizer water technology. Next point is application of pesticides. Since weeds absorb a part of chemical fertilizer, they should be regularly uprooted. Again, to protect the plants from the diseases, the use of pesticides was emphasized. Availability of cheaper credit for the farmers to be capable of using the new and costlier input of the Green Revolution. Availability of easy and cheaper credit was a must. Effects of Green Revolution. क्या क्या इफेक्ट हुए ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के? Increase in the production and productivity. जब HYV seeds हम यूज़ करेंगे तो प्रोडक्शन तो इंक्रीज होना ही था. वी हैव अचीव्ड अ substantial rise in the crop production through increase in the productivity, sufficiency in food grains. The spread of green revolution technology enabled India to achieve self-sufficiency in food grains. India was no longer at the mercy of America or any other nation for the food requirement. Next point is attaining marketable surplus. Green revolution resulted in marketable surplus. Marketable surplus, it refers to that part of the agriculture produce which is sold in the market by the farmers after meeting their own consumption requirement. A good portion of rice and wheat produced during the Green Revolution period was sold by the farmers in the market. Benefit to low income groups. A large portion of the food grains was sold by the farmers in the market. Their prices declined relative to other items of the consumption. The low income groups who spend a large percentage of their income on food benefited from this decline in relative price. Next point is increase in employment opportunities. Green Revolution solved the problem of seasonal and unemployment to a great extent, because with the possibility of growing more than one crop on a piece of land, more working hands were needed throughout the year. Last point is change in farmers' outlook. Commercialization of crops has brought a change in the farmers' outlook. Farmers is no longer regarded merely as a source of subsistence. Now it is taken as a profitable occupation. This has encouraged them to gradually shift from subsistence farming to commercial farming. लास्ट में डिस्कस करेंगे हम लिमिटेशंस ऑफ द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन. सबसे पहला पॉइंट इसमें है लिमिटेड क्रॉप्स. 5 क्रॉप्स पे ही हुआ. The effect of the Green Revolution is primarily felt on the food grains, although all the food grains including wheat, rice, jowar, bajra and maize have gained from the Green Revolution. It is wheat which was benefited the most. It has wasted area from core cereals, pulses and oilseeds. The HYV seeds in later crops have either not been developed so far at all, or they are not good enough for farmers to adopt them. Confined to limited area. Green Revolution has remained restricted only few states like Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Other states like Eastern UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha remain unaffected. Economic divide. The gap between the rich and poor farmers has increased. Green Revolution relies on the use of costly input like fertilizers, intensive irrigation and HYV seeds. Through these inputs have been subsidized by the government. Poor farmers are unable to use them. Next point is ecological degradation. Green Revolution had ecological effect to increase in the saltiness, alkalinity of the soil, soil erosion, problem of water logging, lowering of groundwater level, soil pollution, loss in soil fertility and loss in biodiversity. Last point is unemployment. Except in the state of Punjab and Haryana, Green Revolution has created widespread unemployment in rural areas. The worst hit are poor and the landless laborers. Need and second Green Revolution. According to the 12th five-year plan, a second Green Revolution is urgently needed to raise the growth rate of agricultural GDP to around 4%. Achieving minimum agricultural growth prerequisite for the inclusive growth, reduction of poverty levels, development of the rural economy and raising farm income. Thank you.